Katy Tur is a very good journalist from MSNBC. She brings on neoliberals and she really makes it clear that, hey, you guys are really making no sense. And many of the people who come on her show kind of fear the way she interviews. But I tell you what, I think Joshua Johnson lost an opportunity here to get something into her psyche, because I think this is problematic. Check this out and then we'll take it on the other side.
Josh, let me ask you about this. This was a number that took both me and my husband back last night as we were discussing what was going on. There's a 1 in 1,000 chance in recent years for a black man or boy to die at the hands of a police officer. That's better odds than a lot of scratch tickets. And I asked this question of a police chief and a sheriff yesterday, and I got roundabout answers from both of them. So I want to ask you, why does this continue?
If it could happen to Crispus Attucks, it hasn't really changed. I think it's just a different awareness. And I think the difference is not that it happens, it's the response. It's that more people think to record it. It's that more people think to take to the streets and protest. Even if the protests in Minneapolis at Lake and Minnehaha went down in violence, which is not excusable, even the fact that people of all races decided that that was an action worth taking, that's the change. If we are honest with ourselves, this nation has never fully decided to value the lives of people who look like me equally to the lives of people who look like you. We see it in any number of ways, including the fight against COVID-19. Take a look at the parts of New York that are most heavily beset by this pandemic, and they're black and brown parts of the city, especially in Brooklyn and the Bronx. Governor Cuomo said today that those are among the hot spots that he'll be focusing on. So I think it's less a matter of why we know now what the numbers are, which is that we bother to look, we bother to count, and more reckoning with the fact that this is the same thing that we have dealt with since before we were a nation, since we were a British colony. And even through that fight for independence and for freedom and to build a more perfect union, this is that one thing that we just can't quite bring ourselves to get past. Part of it has to do with culture. Part of it has to do with policing. Part of it has to do with the expectations we put on law enforcement. I am not clear on why the imperative for police officers is not bring them back alive. If you bring them back alive, they can meet justice. If you don't, you become justice. Why hasn't that changed? I don't know why. I just know that this is not new. And I'm sorry to say that if something happened to me on my way home of the ilk as what happened to George Floyd, I know that my mother and my father would be heartbroken, but they would not be surprised.
My concern is black men have been killed by cops for a long time. And in the last few years, we actually saw this on video. And when Katy comes on and says, I was with my husband, and when we saw these numbers, it was a shocker. Well, we've been saying this for a long time, Katy. And in as much as you are a very good journalist, I think maybe for too many, they've been ambivalent to this. Better that you get it now than you had never gotten it at all. Thank you. Let's keep our eye on the ball, even as the election cycle comes through. I'm Egberto Willies, host of Politics Done Right, an independent news program. I post several news videos of interest every day. I ask you so kindly to subscribe to my channel, and please leave me some comments. Thank you very much.